Okay. Was are we good now?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. So back to my question, guys. I just want to find out from you. Tell us in your own words how the experience has been for you so far. We've had about, is it 6? No, more than 6. We've had more than 6 sessions. And today is the final day for us. And I just want to hear from you. How has the experience been like? What were your challenges? What did you really like about the whole program, and what didn't you like? What do you wish was different? Share with us. We just want to hear from you in a matter of a minute or two. Share your experience with us before I introduce Thomas and Rosalind. I'm waiting. I see Edmore, I see Tebogo, Gabana, I see Kumbo, I see Abdullahi, I see Bernes, Mayo, Marik. I'm waiting to hear. I see Joy T, Petronila. I would love to hear from you all. You can just drop it in the chat if you don't want to talk. Okay. I have one from Hafiz. He says extremely educating and rewarding. Rosalind, can you please unmute Edmore? Edmore wants to speak.
Oh, thank you. For me, It was quite informative and exciting. I think the main part was hearing real life experiences from dyslexics. I think that was a major blow for me. It really was a big blow. I'd never really met or had such experiences, and I liked how people have disclosed, come out in the open, and how they have experienced a few accommodations here and there. So that was just something for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edmore. I share your experience. Thank you for sharing it with us. Okay, can we have, Asnek says that it's very interesting experience. Asnek, would you like to unmute and tell us how interesting, what was it that made it, what exactly made it interesting for you? I would love to hear you speak about it. Do we have anyone else? You can just raise your hand and then we will unmute you to talk. There are lots of people here who hear your voices. Okay. Go on, Ashley.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a very interesting and exciting experience. For one, because you guys did a great job organizing all these interesting and very well-prepared presentations, and coming across with people from very experienced, very important and unique people. And it was also interesting because I get the chance to meet many African fellows, and speaking and chatting, exchanging information with them was so vital and was so rewarding. It gave me a lot of chance, to put into my work, or think of doing in the future. So that's why it is a very exciting experience for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Asnik. That is very true, and I perfectly understand where you are taking it from. There are some of the trainers that I've listened to, I've heard them talk about their own experiences, but coming here, I still learned something new from them. So yes, kudos to our trainers who has been with us throughout this journey and has brought us to this exact point. Thank you and kudos to all of them. I really wish they could have joined us today, but all the same, we are going to have a great time. Okay.
Thank you.
I see a number of comments in the chat, so I'm going to read quickly from Gabana. Gabana says, I really enjoyed most of the sessions. I learned a lot about dyslexia and how to go about advocating for dyslexics. The only problem was weekend sessions, since I could not attend live sessions. Oh, Gabana. We apologize for that. We had to go with the majority, and the majority were available over the weekend. But maybe let's see what the next cohort might have it different. We don't know. So thank you for sharing with us, Gabana. Okay, then we have Abdullahi. He says it has really been an amazing opportunity to be part of this family. Attending numerous online training sessions as an advocate has been enlightening. Throughout these sessions, I've gained lots of understanding of dyslexia, its impact, and effective strategies for support and intervention. Additionally, networking with experts and fellow advocates has provided valuable insights and resources for advancing our mission. Thank you so much, Abdullahi. You are the first person to give credit to our networking innovation. So thank you for that. We are glad that we introduced it to the program. And since you love it so much, I'm sure it's going to continue in the subsequent cohorts. Thank you. Okay, we have one from Kumbo. I hope I'm getting your names right. So if I'm not, forgive me, please. Okay. He says it's exciting, educative, and he has learned a lot. His only challenge is that 6 p.m. time, and he has a daughter who kept disturbing and waiting for him after work. We are so sorry. Our biggest apology first to your daughter, and then to you for taking you from your daughter. But we really hope the long term it was profitable. So it will all be worth it. Thank you. We have Brian. Brian says that it's been a great opportunity to interact with like-minded persons from our wide continent. The networks and relationship built are my highlights. Yay. The meeting times were quite a challenge, but we did our best to be present. Thank you for doing your best to be present. We appreciate all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to make it to these sessions. Thank you so much. Okay. So quickly, right? We are going to continue this if we have more time, but let me just allow our Executive Director, Ms. Rosalind Trenate, to introduce our guest for the day. So Rosalind, over to you. Please introduce our guest for us.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Oh my goodness, when they were sharing all the stories, I just started feeling so emotional, and I can't imagine, like, for so many weeks, like today is like our official date of wrapping up all the weeks-long interactions, and then they will start going to the field to start the work that they are doing. But it's been a blessing. We will come back to this, like sharing all the feedbacks and the introduction. We're going to come back to it. But we have our trainer here briefly, and she's here just for a few minutes. So I would like us to give her the seat to share what she has for us. And then after that, we could then really have a lot of fun here as well, because the information she's going to share is on the heart of many of our fellows. And I don't know why a lot of them are not here, but thankfully they will get the recording and watch it. So I will introduce Madame Joy Thomas to all of you. She is the founder and director of Dyslexia Ghana and the Neurodiversity International Center here in Accra. She boasts of over 20 years experience in the space of dyslexia. She's the only Davis facilitator. And by the way, Davis is one of the intervention programs that we use in teaching dyslexic learners. She's the only Davis facilitator in Ghana and West Africa. She conducts assessments and provides intervention. And she has children all over the world. If she has over 20 years of experience, then you can imagine where her children are. She has children all over the world who are thriving and doing amazingly well. Quote unquote, these were students that you would have referred that can never amount to anything, but she transformed their lives. She's a member of the British Dyslexia Association and the British Psychology Society. She actively connects with international network, offering face-to-face and online service for both adults and children. Joy focuses on assessing and supporting individuals with dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, dyspraxia. She is also a mother to me. So let me put that across so that you don't go and take my mother away from me. She's my mother, and I love her so much. And I just want to use this opportunity to say thank you for babysitting me for all these years and all the time stepping on your toe, and it still is like, she's my daughter. Let me just take her like that. Madam Joy Thomas, you are welcome to the Africa Dyslexia Advocates Fellows session time. These are the fellows that we have been busy engaging with since the beginning of the year, and you know the concepts behind it already, is to be able to help others gain the knowledge that we have so that they can create awareness in whichever community that they are. So we have fellows from 32 African countries, totaling up of 90 fellows, and some of them are the ones here. And as we go on, they will join us. In the beginning, there was a lot of questions about assessments, screening and assessments. And some of our fellows have expressed interest of looking into taking assessment as a profession. So since you have been the one in this space for a long time, I find it befitting that you be the one to share a bit about the journey with them, and also point them as to how, if one of them or some of them want to go on the journey of becoming professionals, they can do that. And so you are welcome, and I will quickly unmute you so that you can speak to us. How did you start your journey? How does somebody become an assessor in the field of dyslexia or related learning difficulties? And by the way, I also have to say that she's dyslexic. So for you to really, really appreciate the work she's doing, she is dyslexic. Please go ahead, Mom.
Thank you very much, Rosalind, my daughter. And yeah, thank you for inviting me. I know it was a bit of a short notice, but I'm glad I'm here. Yes, hi, good evening, everybody. Or to some people, I don't know whether it's good evening wherever you are, but here I think it's good evening. Yes, I am dyslexic. My journey started as a child with dyslexia, and luckily I was able to be sent abroad to have support and to be assessed and for interventions to be put into place for me. So I've gone on I had my first degree in social work, and I became a social worker for a while with children with disabilities, and then with adults and mental health, and then went on to then become, to do my master's in psychology. I'm just cutting it short. I'm not going to go into all the things that I've done, but being dyslexic, obviously the confidence wasn't there at the beginning. So I tried my hand at different things. The arts were my favorite because obviously arts comes naturally. So I went into filmmaking, into acting, into modeling, into all sorts of things. But then nothing seemed to satisfy me because I knew there's something in me that wasn't still being fulfilled. So with the assessment, being assessed, that gave me a great opportunity to then to then move on to become the person I wanted to be, because there's different interventions that's put into place. And in England, when you are assessed, you get support, you get different softwares, you get all the latest technologies that you can need, like machines that you speak into and it writes for you, and it does all sorts of things. But before you can get all that, you need to be assessed. And so my dilemma for Africa is, when we assess people, or when we assess children and adults, what then? You see, that is where I have a challenge with. And I mean, yes, it's great for us to have this assessment and be told that you are dyslexic. And then what? So if you're going to be an assessor, you have to bear all this in mind. Because being an assessor, you go through a whole lot of training. You learn how to differentiate. Obviously, you need the background of the person you're assessing, and that will give you a lot of information. Then you have the assessment tools. You'll be taught how to use the assessment tools, and that will then determine whether the person is dyslexic or not. But in Africa, my worry here is how many are really dyslexic, or how many are didn't get the foundation right, and how many, because of financial constraints or poverty, were not able to go to school enough to really achieve the criteria, so that you can be able to assess them for what they are. So there's a whole lot of things to be taken into consideration, because if you don't take care, you will assess people and give them the wrong assessment, and that could be quite damaging, or put labels on people, and it isn't right. So if you're going to be an assessor, there's a whole lot of things you need to take into consideration. Whether the child is eating before even the assessment is important, whether the child slept well, whether the child is upset, all sorts of things that is the child being abused physically, mentally, sexually, you name it. So it covers a whole range of things. It's not just, oh, yes, I did this assessment with this child and this child can't read, so the child is dyslexic. There's a criteria that we all need to follow, which is the DSM-5, and you need to be sure that everything has been considered first before the assessment. For simple things like even ear test, eye test, has that been done before the assessment goes on? Is the room you're using for the assessment, is it quiet? Is there somebody playing football outside the window? In Africa, it's quite difficult to find a room in a place where there's no car, a horn being blown, or somebody yelling, or whatever. So all these things can affect the assessment. So we have to be really, really mindful. If this is the route you want to take, it's great. We need more assessors. We need a lot more people to come into this space so that we can assess, but to do it properly and to make sure we are doing it properly. To actually train assessors. I mean, how many of you want to go into assessment?
We have quite a number of them, and today we don't have majority on the call, so the number might be small. But if you're interested to go into becoming an assessor in the future, let us know in the comments for those of you who are here. But the messages we receive are quite a lot, and that's why this was something we needed. Emmanuel Edu is part of it. We have another person as well. And so we have quite a number of people who are interested to go into assessment.
Go into assessment. Okay. All right. Even if you're not interested in going into assessment, you can still screen the children that you are working with yeah, and to support them and to put the right intervention into place. You know, so the reason why I'm asking how many people, because I don't want to go on too much on assessment, and people are not really interested in going into assessment.
The interest is there. So even though they
Okay.
are not here, everybody is supposed to watch the video and mark their attendance. So there will be people who will be watching. So with all the information as to
Okay.
the pathway, okay, which institution should I even go in terms of for training? What is the cost associated? Anything that will help them gain this information, and any links or resources you have after this.
Yes. Well, I
share
can
with
give you the links and the resources afterwards if people are interested. Well, you need to take like a level 7 graduation in a professional assessment course before you can start assessing if you want to do the professional way, at least. You either train as a educational psychologist, and these days educational psychologist is at the doctorate level. So you can either train as that, which then gives you access to a whole range of ways of assessment. But having said that, being a specialist teacher assessor who's also gained this level that I'll be giving to you is more or less the same as, say, educational psychologists. The only difference is that when there's other combined, like when there's other conditions or like combined conditions that are not picked up by the dyslexia assessment, then you need to refer or you need to pass on the person to a specialist who can then look into the others, because you can be autistic and be dyslexic, and you can have ADHD and still be dyslexic. So it's not just being dyslexic that is, well, but whilst you are testing for dyslexia, you have to be also aware that if there's other conditions, what to do and who to refer to. But apart from that, the assessors, to practice as a specialist assessor or educational psychologist, you are more or less doing the same thing if you are assessing for dyslexia. To meet the assessment criteria, well, I'll give you the guidelines, and I think it will be easier than to try and, because I was only given it just a short note, so I wasn't able to prepare like a flow chart or something to show at the moment, but I'll definitely be giving you. What sort of? So you need.
Last time, yes.
Sorry?
The last time we spoke, I asked you a question that is it only someone who is educational psychologist or a clinical psychologist who can train to become an assessor? If you can touch a little bit on that for me, that will help as well for our fellows, because not all our fellows here are from education or health background.
Yeah, but I think to be fair, well, anybody who is interested can go and train to be an assessor, but you still have to have access to children you'll be working with or children that you need to have whilst you're training. So that's the tricky bit, because if you don't have access to, like an educational setting where you have access to the children to be able to assess them, it's going to be difficult to do your project and assess, because you need to practice. So that's where the difficulty will come in. But being a specialist teacher in an educational setting, you can actually then train as an assessor, or if you're a psychologist, or if you have the psychology background. But by all means, I mean, if anybody who wants to train, you can then take on the training, but you have to make sure that you have access to children that you can assess.
How
as
how
part of
long
your
will it
training.
take? How
How
long will
long
it
will-
to do
It
the
depends. I
practical?
mean, I'll say it will take about a year at least to do the actual course, because there's two types of courses to it. Let me see if I can bring up my notes here that I made. You have the certificate in psychometric testing assessment, yeah, and then you have the assess arrangement assessment. So they both, you could do both together and end up being able to assess, being able to write reports and assess students who are going to take exams or going to universities or need assess arrangements to be made for their exams. And then you also, the certificate in the psychometric testing would also allow you to test children and other people who don't need exams. So it depends what you want to do. I mean, I've got both, so obviously I can do both. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I think mainly you have to have a bit of, if you have a bit of teaching background, it helps. But if you don't, and you really want to do it, you can do it, but it's a bit more harder, but yeah.
Technical too. If I look at my assessment that I did, I feel like it's a bit technical. And if you are not from education, psychology background, it can be a little tricky as well. But like you said, there is nothing that is impossible if you really want to do. So that's the clause. But I sincerely think people from education background will have it more easier.
Yeah. Or maybe psychological background will have it easier. Yeah. And I mean, you can't, sorry, yeah.
No, you can go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, like, even if you're a doctor, even if you are, what do you call it, and you want to do assessment, you still need to train in this area. You can't say, oh, because I've done medicine, I can actually just assess. It's a specialized tool that you need, because as I said, it takes into so many things into consideration before you can actually come up with a report. So you can't just get up and do it. But yes, you need to have the training, the actual proper training. It is expensive. I think it's about 1,000, if I remember, maybe 1,500, 2,000. You're looking at to maybe £3,000. That's roughly that area that you might be looking at. And then the tools that you buy and it costs £600 a tool or minimum is about 200, £300 per the tool that you need. And sometimes you need about 3 or 4 to be able to do it. So it's not cheap, but yeah. But it's worth doing. And once you get it and you keep improving your skills, it's very rewarding.
Fantastic. So I understand that once you are able to go through the course, the training, then they will also direct you to join the British something association.
Yeah, the training is, you become you have a membership with the British Psychological Association with this particular training because I did mine in England, so it's you get a chance to then join the British Psychological Society. But because I did psychology, my master's, I was already also a member. And then with this course too, I also became a member on the registered testers register. They have a register there that they put you on. So anyone can go and check that you are who you say you are. You can't just get up and say, well, I'm a member and I can test. But at least they can go and make sure that you are licensed and you can do the test. Yeah. So you can be, and also it comes under This particular course was under Middlesex University. It's a company called Real Training, but I'll give you the details to be able to, the links, if anyone wants to, and it will take you through the different ways that you can join. Yeah. So do you have any questions or?
Do we have, so the question there I think is answered. So Alex was like, I did special education at the university. Would I be qualified to train as an assessor? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
You can, yeah. And let me see if we have any other question there. Yeah, I think that's the only question we have, and it's how long does it take to assess a child?
How long does it take to assess a child?
Yes.
How long is a piece of string? It depends. It depends on the assessment tool you're using and what you are assessing the child for. Some of it is very short, some of it is long. We have different assessment materials that we use, and that will determine, but I'll say at least 2 hours if you're doing it from scratch. And if the person is not tired, sometimes the child is tired, so you have to break and continue, or maybe do it in 2 sessions, maybe today and then another day. If the child is hungry or hasn't slept or too hot, in Africa, in the West, I'll say too cold, but here it's like too hot. That again, or the room temperature is not conducive, or it's too noisy or something. Sometimes you might have to stop and start again. Yeah.
And I also think that the process of assessment is one. Then the next one, which is the workload for you, the assessor, is also the reporting bit. So is it possible you could break it down as to how, if a parent contacts you, the process is knowing the background, and then landing to the assessment reports? And what do we use the assessment reports for?
What do we need it for? That's a good question. When I started, I think I mentioned that in Africa, my worry is, yes, you do get the assessment done. Yes, you are dyslexic, and then what? What do you need the report for? Here, apart from if you're going to take your exams, like your the basic exams, and you need accommodation or different arrangements made so that you can have like a extra time, or a scribe or somebody to read to you, or somebody to or you need a computer to type your work, then that is the reason why you need the assessments, really. Because in the West, you need the assessment for it to inform the institution or where you are learning, or the school, what the arrangements should be. So in the assessment, they give a different breakdowns of recommendations and whatever, and then that informs the school what they should do. And there's obviously a supporting body that would obviously fund the school to be able to give you the tools that you need. But in Africa, where is that happening? So what do you need the assessment for in Africa, apart from these days, which we are in Ghana, we are getting there by making provision for extra time for your exams and maybe somebody to read to you and things like that. What do you need the assessment for in Africa?
Yeah, it's a question we have to answer, but I think somewhere or somehow it's also helping in a way in terms of the awareness of really being able as a family or a parent to go to the school, present it, and sometimes the report makes the parents to even go and teach the school what is going on with their child. Sometimes the school themselves, they are even in denial until they see something officially written, and then they will start paying attention that, okay, is there a way we can make some adjustments here to support this child? or we cannot. So maybe take your child to another school. So I think some way, somehow it is helping. But like you said
Yes.
from the beginning, is the foundation has been weak in a lot of African countries in terms of when teaching children to read. The science of reading is not there. Therefore, if we should go around to do assessments right now, for many children, we will label a lot of people as dyslexic. Meanwhile, they are not dyslexic. So then the bottom line is we have to train teachers to be able to teach the children well. So if your teachers teach them within a year, because you, Mom, I know you're able to do intervention for children within the space of weeks, 3 months, and they're able to go back to the mainstream school. So within a space of 1 year, if a teacher is really teaching properly and the child is not getting, and you conduct assessment, then you might be getting a good report.
Well, I think our teachers should be taught how to do screening in the classroom. And if they screen at the beginning of the term, they know the children that are struggling, and then middle of the term, half term, see another assessment, you know. So you continue to assess your children anyway, or you with the teachers as part of exams are part of school. It's like screening, you know. So you have to review to make sure that whatever you've taught, the child is taking it, or and if they haven't, what else can you do for the child to get what you are doing? But if every teacher is taught how to screen, you know, and there's so many screening tools out there that will help. So then if there's difficulty, that's when you bring in the assessors to look in and see if there's other reasons why the children are struggling. And also we have to bear in mind as assessors that that's where I think extra training might be needed, that every child that can't read, as I said before, does not mean they're dyslexic. There's a criteria that you have to meet. It's not just any child who can't read, hey, they're dyslexic. Because I had a case whereby a child, there's another condition called Williams syndrome, and a lot of people don't know that. It's like opposite to Down syndrome. So if you don't know what you are looking for, and this child comes and presents, they can't read, they can't even identify the alphabets, you're going to automatically think they're dyslexic, and the child is maybe 12 or 11. You think, hold on a minute, this child is dyslexic. So whilst we're advocating for dyslexia, we also have to be sensitive to the other conditions that are there, and to signpost, if you don't know, signpost the child or the person so that at least somebody can be able to identify what the child's condition is and so on. It doesn't mean that the child might not be dyslexic, but because they've also got like global delay in learning, that could be also the situation. And if the intervention is put in wrongly because they're supposed to be dyslexic, then again, you're harming the child. Yeah. So,
absolutely. Thank you so much. We are about wrapping up, but there's two questions, and I have my last question for you will be, Josiah is asking, which institution in Ghana train assessors? We don't have.
We don't have.
We don't
Not
have.
yet. Not yet.
Not yet. So maybe it's coming up.
Yeah.
And then Rejoice is saying.
So carry on.
Rejoice is saying, please, can doing one of the courses qualify me as an assessor? I think I don't know the composition of the courses. So, Madam Joy, can you clarify that out?
Yes, I did. Hold on, let me get back to this one again. There's certificate in psychometric training. Then psychometric training, assessment, and assess arrangements. So there's like 2 in 1, but you could do one. If you don't do the first one, you can't do the second one, put it that way. But you can do the first one, which will allow you to be able to qualify as an assessor and be able to be testing and doing that. And then if you want to also write the reports for children who needs special permission, Then you do the next one, which is the assessment arrangement, which also allows secondary school or university or, A-levels or before they get to their first year basic education exams or whatever. So you could write those reports to allow them to have the proper arrangements put into place. But yes, you could do the certificate of, which is the CCET.
Okay. Thank you so much. We will be ending here. So Elizabeth, I don't know the time you joined, but all the questions you're asking has been addressed already. So I will encourage you to watch the recording from the beginning. However, we're going to get some kind of roadmap from Madam Joy as to if you want to become an assessor, the road you should follow, the institution that offer the course online, I believe, and then getting yourself to be qualified. And she went on to mention the prices ranging from £1,000 to like £3,000, and each tool you need is ranging from £200
approximately, possibly maybe more.
Yeah.
But,
yes, approximately £200 upwards. So we will research more into tools that are available there and share with you as time goes on. But for screening, there are so many screening tools. I remember in the earlier part of your journey, we shared some tool documents that even have some screening questions in there.
Everybody can
do
screening.
We have more as well that we will share with you. My last question, Madam Joy, is to do with when assessments in our cultural context as Africans. I know we've touched on this before, but this came up again because I know some of our dyslexics are questioning as to how do we come up with some tools in our cultural context for assessments. I want to hear your view on that, and then we will go into our next.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I mean, I remember when I first went into assessment, I thought, yeah, I'm going to develop something that's going to be very culturally, acceptable, and and these guys don't know what they're doing, and it's not fair and it's biased, and yes. But when you go into it, a lot of work and a lot of research and so many years have gone into it. And most of the tools that we use, even though, say, maybe they were tested in the West and not in Africa, and in the past, like in the States, there was a bit of a bias whereby they thought the middle-class white kids did better than the Black kids because they were using terminology that maybe the Black kids wouldn't use and the white kids will understand, and but most of this has been ironed out, and they've taken into consideration like a worldwide situation. So yes, we need to be developing our own. But having said that, what the tools we've got now, most of them have taken into consideration our needs as well, and it's good. But yes, we need to do our own, but it takes time. So yeah, if anyone is out there and wants to go that route, to be really great to have our own tools developed, and hopefully even the West can use ours as well. But yeah, the tools there have taken into, and I mean, when we do assessment, we also take into consideration that sometimes maybe the words that are there, the child might not know it or might not be able to pronounce it. But then there's also picture side of things where it doesn't even include words, which anyone in the world will recognize. But having said that too, maybe they will show you a polar bear and you don't have a polar bear in your country, and maybe they'll show you another bird here in Africa and you won't have it in yours. So all that is being taken into consideration. And also, no tool is 100% accurate. Even when we develop our own, we cannot get it 100. So when we are assessing, we take all that into consideration. And if need be, we do adjustments and we include that in the report. So yes, it's a good question and it needs to be addressed. But for now, what we have, I think is good enough.
Thank you so much, Madam Joy Thomas. It's been a pleasure having you always. If you are in Ghana and you are a teacher, you are a mother, and you're thinking of where to send a child for assessment, the place to go is Dyslexia Ghana. A place for early intervention, late intervention, please, Dyslexia Ghana. Don't send them to Africa Dyslexia Organization. We don't do any of that. So our great partner is Dyslexia Ghana, and you have to send them. Also, when it comes to affordability, especially this one, sorry for the other African countries, Ghana, affordability is Dyslexia Ghana. So put that in your mind. We'll share her contacts after the session with you all. Do you have any last words to leave with us? And we will say thank you and good night and happy weekend.
Yeah, that would need more assessors. Having said all that, and I look forward to whoever is interested in, if you need any support or any directions, we are more than happy to support and help. My last also is just my little beef that I'm always whatever, is to do that. Not all fingers are equal, so we should all remember that when we're dealing with people with dyslexia, and what works for me might not work for the next person. So we should also always take it into consideration that we're not all the same, but we have the same condition, but we all show it differently. So we should take that into consideration when we're dealing with people, that what worked for one person might not work for the next. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's been interesting having you. I will speak with you after the class, Mom. See you soon.
And thank you for having me. And good luck, everybody. We really appreciate you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, is Sandra here? I think we are on to our next session. Sandra, if you're here, let me know so that you can take over. So for all those who are interested in assessments, we're going to get you the resources, everything you need to know about it. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you're not up for it soon, just have the information at hand. Anytime you are ready, you can have access to it. And for those of you who are in education, it is important you know at least how to do screening. And so in our subsequent trainings that will come, we'll have to find a way of maybe dividing those who are into health and education, and so that we can kind of tailor trainings to them. So Sandra, you can take over from me now. I think I am done with my work, and let's see how our advocates are doing. I am just excited. I don't want them to go away today.
Okay, thank you. I was muted, so I couldn't talk. Thank you. All right, that was a very interesting, very brief, but very straight to the point and informative. So thank you so much for coordinating that session, Rosa. And thanks to Dr. P, even though she's not here. Joy, thank you so much. Okay, so please, we continue from here. Can I get more people share their experience? I think during Joy's session, a few people dropped in their comments. I'm trying to read, but forgive me, my phone is giving me.
So as Sandra is getting herself prepared, we just want to hear from you. Maybe in the next 10 minutes, if you can talk, please put your hand up and we'll unmute you so you can talk. Some of you have shared how you feel about the training, some of the highlights and low moments for you. We want to hear from the rest, because majority of you were not here when it started. How are you feeling? We have few here. We are like basically 30 fellows are here at this moment. We started with a great number, but not all of us are here. How are you feeling? How did we waste your time? Am I here alone? I'm not hearing anybody to say anything. Nobody's typing. Am I here alone? Hello? Shall we close the class? Okay. We are here. Okay. Rejoice, you can never be alone. Thank you. Okay, great contribution. Thank you so much. And already some of you have privately also chat with me on WhatsApp and sharing your great feedback. And I have to say we are very grateful. I just have to state that today being the last doesn't mean this is where the journey ends. The journey is now starting, because those of you who are going to graduate are going to be working hand in hand with us for the next 2 years. And after the 2 years, it doesn't mean the journey has ended. You can still be part of the family forever, but just that is the requirement of the fellowship, and for you to be part and all of us work together. What I have to say is, from this moment, Africa Dyslexia Organization isn't just me and the team who are working behind. Africa Dyslexia Organization include all of you. You are Africa Dyslexia Organization. So if you see anything that is walking on the street that is Africa Dyslexia Organization, and you take your eye off it as if you haven't noticed, that is your jewel that you are throwing away. And I just want to use that explanation for you to know how important you are with us. I'm hoping some of you will come up with creative ideas of how we can take this organization forward and even this fellowship. So therefore, some of the ideas that for me and the team we have in mind is the new cohort. Some of you are going to be the one leading it. You are going to look at, even from the moment of application, how we did the application, how we promoted it on media for you to even hear the information. Add to the experience of applying, the experience of shortlisting, the experience of selecting the final numbers to be 90, and we're hoping with your support, the next fellowship, we are going to be more than 90, and we can actually get to 2 people in each African country. So we're looking for those committed individuals among you who have, because we know that most of you know it even much better than we do at ADO. And so we want those people to come out and say that I want to be part of the group that will launch the next fellowship. That is one aspect. We also want a group that is so well versed in social media that would say that we are going to take the communication, like simply like, okay, ADO team, we know that you guys have been doing a good job, but we have some cool brains here who know how to drive communications. We want to take over that. We want to have that group. We also want that group that are like parents or people who genuinely, you're psychologists, you're able to speak to parents who are broken, to give them hope, so that when a parent contacts us, we will say, okay, let me just call Crystal and just link this parent to Crystal, and Crystal is able to do the magic so that the parents will feel safe. We also want that group who are interested in research, so that we can brainstorm and see the next area of research that we want to do. Currently, we are piloting one in Ghana. It has not been successful. And me, I don't hide. I say things like that. The things we've done good, say, yes, it's good. The ones we are not, we will say, it has not been successful because of also what's funding. How do we go about it? How do we even use the same model to launch a continental research together with all of us? We want that group that will sit to strategically plan that. We also want that group that will just put us in check. Like your strategic eye is on to be like, okay, guys, can we look at these ideas? We think this will work. We think this will work. Can we try so that we see if that will work? That is how we want to engage with you. Aside you going into your community and creating the awareness over there, this is how internally we want to engage with you. That is what family is about. So do we have some people that will say, yes, we'll go on this train with ADO? Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, CD, Rejoice. Yay! Oh my goodness. I'm blushing. So these are the stuff, the ideas, even the things that I'm not saying here. If you have an idea, just bring it on board. This is how we can do it. Okay, I will unmute Emmanuel Edu to speak. Emmanuel, go ahead. Please unmute yourself. Oh, did you raise? Okay. Emmanuel, go ahead.
Oh, I think my internet hanged a little bit, so I didn't hear what you said the last, 20 seconds.
I say that we're looking for the individuals, you are families, who would just be like, okay, listen, I'm thinking of this idea. Can we look at it? Can we test it? You're looking at some of the things we're doing and you'll be like, hey, this is great, but I think I have a better one. I was shared with a message by one of your fellows, and I was so happy to have read that message from the team, where a fellow reached out and said that I am very well versed in program development and curriculum building, and I would like to engage to see how we can do this advocacy training better and even put the content on e-learning platform. Amazing. I'm here to speak to the person, but I thought that is what we're looking for. So don't feel alone. If you see we post something on social media, it is your organization promoting something on social media. Like it, share it. That is how we can do this together. The moment you take out of your mind this face you're seeing, that it is this face that started something, and it's making you angry that you are part of it. That if you take that out of your mind and you put that child at the center, that I want to contribute to something that a child or an adult can have a meaningful life, then you can contribute to something great. I've helped so many organizations start up. I've helped so many organizations grow without ever me thinking about what is the gain here. But I thought about the impact I was going to make. And I made that impact that I am proud of. I look at it 8 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and I am so proud I was part of it. This is how we want to make the fellowship. And so I encourage you to get your A games on, to get your energy on, and be part. I want to see the next cohorts of advocates. Some of you will be the ones sitting and coordinating the classrooms, just as Sandra and I or Justina have been doing. We don't want to be the one doing it all the time. We are here to do it now because we don't have you. But now we have you. You have experienced it. We know you can do it even better than us. So we want you to take the mantle and do it. This is how we want to roll from now onwards. It saddens my heart that we would have to mark the class, and out of the 90 people, about half of them are the one going to graduate. So the last time I was asking the team, do we think maybe we should post it to the fellows to decide whether we should have even graduation at all, to graduate those who were consistent on the class, or we should just confirm everybody? But then how about the person who didn't attend the class and hasn't learned? How do we go about it? We want to make that decision with you. Okay, we have Gabana. Go ahead.
Hello, Rosalind. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes. You reminded me of something. When are you going to finalize the list of those who are supposed to graduate? Because some of us have not even gone through the past recordings to sort of qualify. And when are you going to finalize? Maybe you can give us sort of a week or so to go through them. We haven't been able to attend because of some social activities like funerals and stuff like that. I'm having to attend weddings and stuff like that. You know the importance of attending those social activities. So basically what I wanted to know is when are you going to finalize the list so that they can afford us time to go through them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for asking that question. And I think that leads into what I was sharing. And that's the reason why we had to extend the graduation dates to the latter part of the month, so that it can accommodate others to be able to catch up where they have not. But then also you have to know that it's a lot of files we are dealing with, and that's a lot of work for them to go through and analyze it and pull all the data out. So for us, we were thinking the last day would be the next Friday coming will be the last day, and then we will close the attendance list and be able to come up with the marks each and everyone got. But we are also flexible. We can take inputs from all of you. You are all fellows. You are in different tribes and all that. What do you want done? Do you want us to still give an ample time for them to catch up, say maybe the entire month, and graduate next month? Or you say that, hey, no, forget about it. Let's graduate everybody. What do you say? We want to hear from you. You are part of the family. So this is a decision we have to take together. But the actual requirements of the program, you already know that we had to mark at least 80% of the class has to be attended. Let me see, we have a question. Edmo is here. Edmo, let's hear you. Oh, okay. There's a lot of hands up. So Edmo, unmute yourself. From there, we go to Alice.
Thank you. I get what you're saying, but I think we should also consider those who were consistent, and they should be rewarded for their consistency. And so what I believe is those who were consistent should be rewarded for their consistency. Those who were not consistent for whatever reason, they should communicate privately and explain or justify why they were not consistent, and then from them they have to catch up. And if they're to catch up, I want to believe they'll have to go through the same process, maybe in the next cohort. Because if we say they graduate also, then we are slackening, and it compromises the whole fellowship aspect. So it's unfortunate they had those who have justifiable reasons had to go through that, but it's what is done everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edmore. Let's hear from Alice.
Yeah, good afternoon. I agree with Edmond, and for the authenticity of the advocacy, and as advocates, we are reflecting ADO. So we represent ADO. I think, in my humble opinion, those who were consistent should be allowed to graduate in due time, and those who were not or have not attained the standard of 80% should receive some sort of a receipt. I don't know how that will be done, but to allow them catch up, because life does actually happen. But then we don't, what ADO as a unit would not want to do is to put people out there who don't have their standards, because like I said again, we are advocates and we are ADOs in the field, so to speak. So if they are not, if those who are graduating, the advocates are not sure that those who have not met the 80% standards are equipped enough to be in the field, then maybe they should give them, like what Edmond said, some sort of a receipt. I don't know how that will work, but then they will be allowed to graduate later on. But I think the time span on itself has dragged out a lot, and others should, I mean, the fact that we're even given opportunities to rewatch later on, opportunities to fill in the forms, question forms later on and submit. It's ample space for those who have been lacking to catch up. But still, life does happen. So if, like Edmond said, they can communicate to either Madam Rosling or the others privately and say, oh, well, this happened, and I would like to catch up, and they should be allowed to catch up. But the graduation date should be made permanent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alice. Thank you. So we go to Emmanuel, and then Usmani, if I'm correct. Emmanuel, go ahead. Emmanuel, go ahead, please.
Good evening.
Emmanuel, can you
Good
please?
evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I'm my internet is just, playing up. I was listening to the first part, but the second part I'm driving. That's why. I think consistency is very key in every human endeavor. So I think we have to stick to the 80% and allow those who have taken the course up to the 80% to graduate with us. So I agree with the timing too. You allowing them time up to the end of April so that they can go back and visit the files and watch the videos and take attendance and everything. I think it's good. So we should stick to the 80%. So that it will become an established benchmark. Yes. So thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Osmani, you can speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Rosalind, for giving me the floor. Thank you. Like I said in one of my message, it was a real eye opener for me. I have come to realize the difficulty that our students may have been facing during the learning process. And I think that it is a necessity for us really to start the job, okay, by raising awareness next to students, but also next to teachers or next to all stakeholders for them to know that the students sometimes they're doing poorly at school, not because they're not intelligent or motivated, just because they're facing some neurological problem that is dyslexia. So thank you for that, for this opportunity. Now, as for those who are still lagging behind, who are not consistent, I think that the word consistent is the very word. I think that we should really decide right now. I think what my two fellow just said is a good option. Okay, we cannot keep on waiting for them. You have the statistics. You just check those who are regular attendant, who have filled out the forms and so on, and see if you can they can graduate. As for the rest, and maybe if they give you feedback about why or what is holding them back, maybe you'll find another solution to them. But if we keep on waiting for them, it might take time. And on the D-Day, people like me might miss the graduation ceremony. What are you going to do? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your input. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Yes, and I think you all said what has been on our mind. Consistency is key. And one thing that we like, well, in my country, Ghana, we use, Sandra, I don't know if you can translate this into English for me. Say, enyefe. Oh, enyefe. Oh.
Yeah.
How do we say that?
Yeah, there's no harm in that. It's okay.
Yeah, like oh, it's okay. Let's just push them and on all that. But we want to make this fellowship program to be one of the best fellowships around, especially also when something of this kind has never happened anywhere. We wouldn't want to play with it because listen, the eyes are on us. The international community are looking at it and being like, what is these guys doing? So the best way we can do to uphold this for it to be very enviable and people would want to even step in to support us in future is to really keep it up. Let's read a few comments. Rejoice says, I think in order not to allow flaw, the already perceived standard in ADO, you should stick to the 80% and maybe give grace period to those who weren't able. Allow 80% and time to catch up. I would suggest time is given to those who could not go through all the training, but then also they need to make an effort to complete the sessions. You are right. What we will do is we're going to go ahead with our graduation. The best we can do is in this week, Friday, when it ends, that's it. Nobody can add anything to it anymore. We will close all the marking for you to not to receive response, and then we can collate it and make sure we are able to do the participatory certificates for everyone to get it. And so we will stick with our time that if we are still alive, we will have the graduation. Sandra, take over. I think the most important aspect we have decided, which is to do with the graduation. And any other thing is let's have fun today.
All right. Thank you so much, Rosa, for stepping in. And I really apologize my iPhone was really hot, so it had to automatically, it just does this thing of going off. So I apologize for going off like that. Okay. Are you done discussing, sharing your experiences, Rosa? Because I was off.
When I asked them to share their experiences, they didn't want to talk, but they were putting their messages in. Okay, we have a hands up.
Okay.
Oh, some messages came in. Benny says,
Okay.
I personally learned a lot because I had no idea of what dyslexia is, but I've always wanted to advocate for social change. And this training has paved way from communication to advocacy strategy. Oh, Benny, thank you. Like, you know why, like Osmani as well said, it was his first time coming in contact with something like this. And I'm like, when I read them, it touches me so much. Then I feel like we've done the job. We are done. Even if it's one person who we have convicted, we are done with our job. So all of us, let's clap for ourselves. We've done amazing work. We've done amazing. Osmani, please, you can unmute.
Hi, Rosalind.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I took the floor a while ago just to give to speak my mind about whether we should be waiting for those who are lagging behind or not. Well, I don't know. I wonder if I have something else to add. Would you want me to add something?
You can. It's an open floor. Like I said in the beginning, the moment of you learning has ended. Now you're part of the family. And so we're asking you for this feedback for you to make your contributions because we want you as part of it.
Okay, I see. Well, I feel that everything is positive about this training session or these training session. The organization is worth preserving. If I think that the initiative is unique, if I may say so, because managing to gather many African countries, okay, on a platform and exchanging ideas, okay, of this kind. I think that especially in an issue that is not well known in Africa, we are sacrificing many of our students, okay, without knowing it. How many students have had to drop school because they are not understood, okay? And maybe sometime they might be hiding, saying that God know that I'm interested in studying. I am interested. I would like to study, but they don't know that I have problem. Okay, so I think that like someone said, paving the way or showing us the way that towards awareness about the fact that the student they don't miss class or they don't disrupt class because of rudeness or something like that, just because they have problem. When we are aware of that, we teachers, I think that it can be a good start in order to save many of them. And that's the importance I place on this huge organization, these bright ideas, because I think that the world has gone global. We shouldn't be lagging behind. So the initiative is absolutely wonderful. Talking to my fellow African in breakout room was so exciting. Okay, and we were learning. You could feel that people were learning from each other. It is as if we knew each other for years. I mean that these are moments that we need to capture, we need to encourage, okay, in order to really build Africa. I don't know how to say, because it is so special when I have the opportunity to talk to an African fellow. I feel something that I cannot express, because I feel that sense of belonging, okay, that sense of community that should be the real thing in Africa. I am sure you understand my what I'm feeling, because we Africans, we are one. This oneness, you feel it whenever we meet. I feel that we can go beyond, okay, by multiplying organization of this kind. And so thank you. So what falls on us to do now is to really encourage people in our community to do the job with us, to know that we are in fact sacrificing some of our students, okay, and we need to rehabilitate this. We need to shift the paradigms, okay. So to be short, this is what I had to say. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for capturing that so well for us over here. It's you a lot, and for you kind of putting everybody's together. But your expression for the breakout room there makes me jealous. So I feel like, hey, I really missed out, and I want to go and be a fellow as well, so I could jump into all the rooms. Josiah, you can go ahead.
Okay. Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
This program has really been insightful and helpful to me. As a teacher, when I completed training college, I was posted to the Upper West region of Ghana. And then actually, I used to punish my students due to their inability to read. Sometimes during exams, I'll give them a pass mark. If you are not able to meet this benchmark, I'm going to punish you. And I used to punish them. So when I became a special educator, I said to myself, I need to advocate for these children because they can't speak for themselves. We do punish them, calling them all sorts of names. So as a special educator, I wanted to advocate for them, and I saw that this is the best opportunity for me to advocate for them. So I really applied, and I'm very happy. I've really learned a lot. And then also, I've become interested that I want to also dive into the deaf community as well. Because when you look at dyslexia, we mostly determines it by the person's inability to read. But when you look at students who are deaf, and as a teacher of the deaf, they don't use voice, or they don't use verbal communication. So I'm really interested. I have keen interest in knowing how to identify students who are deaf and are dyslexic. And this training has really helped me. And I've gotten interest in going to research in that area. I'm planning to do research in that area so that we can be able to identify students who are deaf and are dyslexic.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Josiah. Sandra, I'm not doing your work for you. I'll give you your microphone back.
Yeah,
Josiah,
but Josiah, what you said just made me think how beautiful it will be if we can get these testimonials on video recording and share on our socials. So if you don't mind, and that goes to everyone on here, you can just record in 1 minute, 30 seconds to 1 minute, how this whole program has changed your perspective on certain things, what has changed, the impact that it has had on you, and then we would love to share it on our social media platform and then tag you. So you can just record the video briefly, and you can send it to our email, or you can send it to my personal WhatsApp number, and I'll be happy to take it up and share on our social media. So that's just by the way. Thank you so much, Josiah, for sharing that, and everyone else who is sharing. I see a lot on the page, but we have
Sandra, I would just have to say that you read my mind, and I was just, you saw me doing this, was because I was waiting for Josiah to finish and say to everyone, please, can you put all this into a video? And you rightly said it. And how nice would it be if we capture all of them and we have a video editor, put it all together for the new cohorts to even hear the excitement? That would be really, really good. So let's do this. Everybody, you can do it. Nice recording in a landscape. We'll do like a landscape. So when you take your phone, the video like this, not like this way, and then you record and you send it to us within 31 minutes, and we could share it together with you. We can share it. And then we will also make a list, maybe a Google Sheet of all the areas I spoke about, from those who are going to handle the next cohort, those who are going to take in charge of research, communication, strategy, and peer mentoring for our parents. We'll put the list out there and you can express interest, so we know those of you who are interested to work on this type of projects. So Sandra, you can take the lead, and if we have some time when you are done, maybe let's give them their last intimate room chats.
Right. I'm really hoping that we will have enough time for that. It would be awesome to say goodbye to one another before we go. I see a lot of comments because I was off for a while. I missed a lot of the chats, so I'm sorry if I don't get to videos. But I see people are asking questions. People are still asking questions. Someone was asking Rosa how they could know if they passed the 80% mark. I'm sure an email sent.
We're
Okay,
gonna share everything with them. So once the team finish compiling the list, it will be on an Excel, and we'll just share it like a link so it's viewable and we could all see. I mean, this is nothing to hide. It's transparent. So you see what everybody had. Please, I will just use this opportunity to say that those in your tribes, if you can encourage everybody to go, those who have not catch up, to go and watch the video and mark themselves, it will do us so good. Unless they are not interested. If they are not interested, that is okay. Once we graduate, we will migrate everybody who graduated from that platform to another platform, because we might close that platform. So we'll migrate everyone who graduates to another platform. This is how we're going to do it.
Rightly said, Rosa. I see a lot of comments on people saying we should give those who have not met the pass mark some grace period, and someone also commented that it might affect the next cohorts, the subsequent cohorts. I get all that, but I think, Rosa, I do agree with most of you, and I think we all come down to the same point. We give them enough time to catch up, and if they don't, then we know that we have done our very best. And it's also why the graduation week was scheduled for 27. That is the last week in April. So they have from now, which is the 12th to 27, that is 15 days, 2 weeks, and the previous days that they've had to catch up. So if they are still not done by then I'm sure it's just them not trying to pull their weight, and we can't really force anyone. Plus, we have to also get things done with this cohort so that we can plan ahead for the next cohorts, which also a whole recruitment process, analyzing applications, reviewing them, sending out emails, getting them all over again. So it's a whole lot. So we are sorry, but the graduation is happening on 27th, and whoever doesn't make it can apply for the next cohort, and they will have just a slight chance of getting on board, because you've already been given the opportunity and you didn't maximize it. So that's just by the way. But please, if we have any other question, we are allowed to ask.
We have Anthony.
Okay.
Hello, ADO and my fellow my fellow fellows. I don't know what to talk about it. I am really, 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 from the bottom of my heart, I am so, so happy to be part of this. It's been eye-opening. It's been everything that I even never expected existed. And I am so happy to be part of this fellowship. Thank you very much for all your effort, for taking the time to even take us from nowhere to somewhere today. And yes, I think what you're saying regarding those who did not meet up the requirement, I don't need to go in there. I think what you are doing is the right thing. But one thing I wanted to get us from this particular platform to something else. How do we get to continue to have how do you link us up? Because I know it's a treasure trove that we have of all of us who are fellows. I need us to continue to have our what do you call it, our contacts. Are you going to be able to put us into, I mean, how are you going to make sure that we don't lose contact with each other? Thank you.
Okay, I will just add something to that. Thank you so much for those enriching words. You getting me emotional, and I just want to say thank you. Anthony, we're not going to lose contact. One of the things we are working on, it will take a while because there's so many disappointments that has happened. It's on our website. We have a page that is membership page, and there was supposed to be a page that would be for fellows. And this is a page like basically like a room that you go, you upload your picture, you can upload your profile and where you are coming from. So if Anthony is in South Africa looking for somebody in Kenya, you're able to check and see who you want to connect with in Kenya. This is something we have paid for it already, but it hasn't happened. So if that comes up, that's one platform. Another platform is the WhatsApp group. Once after graduation, we're going to put all the graduates, the fellows, actually, the advocates fellows. You're going to be in one separate group. You're not going to be on the one that has 90 something on it. You're going to be in that intimate room and you still connect with each other. So whichever WhatsApp groups that you have, still keep them. But if people are not active on it, please come back to the bigger room and network. Another thing we're going to do is this Zoom room here, we are going to make it available so that on the days where you have connected with some of you, let's say your tribe members, and you want to be on Zoom and connect with each other, you can just hop on. You don't need us to be on. As long as there is not any meeting happening, you can hop on and come and chat among yourself. Secondly, WhatsApp. You can have 8 people on a screen or 10 people on a screen on a WhatsApp video. Use those ones and stay in contact. If you're going to a country, so I'm in Ghana, I'm going to Kenya, please check and ask in the group, who is a fellow in Kenya? If you are in the capital, Nairobi, ask. And please connect whilst you're there. This is how you can connect with each other. I do this with a group I belong to. And in every major city in the world I go, there's somebody who is in that group over there. And I connect with them. Sometimes I don't even have to stay in a hotel. So this is how we can connect with each other. Now, talking about connecting, I think one of the topics we left out was networking. But because we're doing a lot of networking among yourselves, that's why we didn't. But I think in our next session, the 2 months catch-up sessions, we'll bring networking as well. So we tell the importance of networking and the strategies as to how you can stay in constant touch among yourself. When you are there, just call one of the fellow in Ghana and say that, hey, my name is Anthony. I'm a fellow in South Africa. I'm just calling to say hello. How is everything going? What project are you doing? So you are in contact. Thank you. We have Medupe.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you? I'm sorry, I will not be able to use my screen because of the network.
Fine, you're fine.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I just want to use this opportunity to thank the organizers of this program and also everybody that has made efforts to participate. I know it's not been easy for all of us, and those who are still trying to catch up, please don't feel like you've done something wrong, even though we've decided that the graduation should take place when it's supposed to take place, because we have to be consistent and we have to have a standard. Otherwise, that doesn't necessarily mean that you've not done what you're supposed to do. It's not difficult. It's not easy for all of us, and I'm sure it's been very, very difficult, more difficult for you guys than it's been for us that has been able to catch up. So congratulations ahead in advance, sorry, to all of us, for being able to come this far, because personally, it's been a huge, huge experience. It's been a huge push and eye opener for me, because I come from the autism background, and I've always wanted to know about dyslexia, because many people on the spectrum do have dyslexia as an additional condition. But I've never been able to understand what dyslexia is and how it can really impact them. And with this training, just like Joshua said, it's really, really helping me to become inclined towards researching on dyslexia as it relates to people on the spectrum, while still making sure that I really pay attention to people with dyslexia without any other additional condition. Because no matter what we do, we should never forget that we owe people who are dyslexic a lot. We've come this far because of this is what I say to people, especially those of us in the special needs community, and every human being on earth, is that we learn something from the other person. You just have to allow yourself see it. And if you can see it, it gives you an opportunity. So I strongly believe that the existence of dyslexia as a condition is giving us a lot of opportunities today, and is going to continue to bring more opportunities for us in the future. So because of that, I believe, and I hope every one of us really, really do our best to advocate for them. Because if their condition doesn't exist, we will not even have the opportunity we're having right now. And that's much I wanted to say. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much for your kind words and insights, and me getting an idea to see where supports are coming from and all that. And I won't talk, but some of you would receive some, it will be a surprise. About 3 people might get a training opportunity. It's online. So if you're not somebody who is good online, please don't try to come say you are interested in the training, okay? But we know some of you have done extremely, extremely well. And for those, especially those from the education background, these 3 people will be selected for a training with our partner in the US. The training is worth $850, and we will give to 3 of our fellows to have the opportunity. And so I just want to put that out there. Are we ready to go and connect for the last time? We have few minutes. We have 20 minutes. We're giving you 15 minutes to go and connect among yourself. Are we ready? Because the room is about to be open, and this is going to be like 2 people in a room. So please, everybody should try as much as possible to go into the rooms, okay? Thank you so much. When it comes on, just click and go inside, and we'll see you shortly. Enjoy your networking.
You're a good soldier, choosing your battle. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over. The pressure's on, you feel it. But you got it all to leave it. When you forget about and if you forget about because this is Africa. This time for Africa. Listen to your time. This is our motto. Your time to shine. Don't wait in line. It almost got over. People are raising their expectations. Don't want to feed them. This is your moment. No hesitation. To take your day. You take the way. Believe it. If you get down, get up. Oh, when you get down, get up. This time for Africa. It's time for Africa.
It's in.
How we'll do that.
It's in. Oh,
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, welcome. How was your breakout session? I was able to kind of see through some of the rooms, and I must say I am high jealous. I need to be I need to be in this breakout room everywhere. The conversations are awesome and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I wish this never stops. Like, you know, reconnecting among ourselves. There's so many like awesome discussion. Okay, it was amazing. Yes, I know. Oh, wow, Elizabeth. Yes, Elizabeth, I was in your room. I heard some of the great conversation that was going on. I was able to go to 5 rooms and all of them were amazing and amazing. Justina, are you here? I miss you. Let me see if you're here and say, okay, I think she's still trying to come back. So now we are going to go. We are 4 minutes beyond our time, but I thought I didn't want to rush you guys so that you can connect more with yourselves. So from now till we graduate, what happens? This is the time for you to reflect, absorb, and reflect on the journey of all these past week, you spending 2 hours of your Friday.
Need to reflect, and it's incredible how.
Okay, let's do something here. Yes, so just reflect and see how the journey has been, the things you have learned, how you're going to use it, how you step forward. If this journey is going to be anything experiential for you, it solely depends on you. We on this side have done our part. Moving forward, we are also very much open to work with you. But whatever the experience will be from now, it solely depends on you. Whether you say, yes, I am standing forward for it and I'm going to go with this and we're going to make this work together. It's up to you. I know that it's a challenge when it comes to anything that monetary value is not attached to it. But in this world, not everything is money. I was sharing with somebody, and I think that was Justina, in the message we were chatting earlier, where we're trying to assess some opportunity which it didn't go through. And I was sitting in my office and I was crying earlier today, and I said, who have even asked me to do what I'm doing. Because to my knowledge, I have no point of even being here in this Ghana. I have no point even going on this journey as Africa Dyslexia Organization. It does not pay me 1 cent. So matter of fact, it is my life savings that is going away. Anytime anything leaves my account going to ADO, I know that it is my life savings that I have worked that is going away. So it is so difficult when you go and stand out there trying to seek for opportunities, and it seems like the opportunity is coming, but then they tell you the answer, big no. But then I realized that this is like a calling to me. And whether I like it or not, I need to do this. Will I be able to do it for the next 10 years? I don't know. Will I even be alive? I don't know. So whatever impact I can make today with a little resources around me, whether being me having it or not having it, I would do it. Because I remember when I was at the age of 19 in the culinary school, I was a peer educator. That was where the awareness of HIV and AIDS was on, where Red Cross will let you do a lot of awareness. And I signed up to be a peer educator. They never paid us anything. I didn't have money to even be picking a car. I remember I would walk from where my school was in Koforidia, and I would walk to the town of Koforidia just because I want to go and talk to young girls in the market about HIV and AIDS and how they should stay safe. And I realized, no, there was no money, but I'm sure some of the words I said maybe impacted somebody's life. And today I don't know where they are. So I will urge you all. I know that today, yes, it looks like nothing, but you never know tomorrow. And for those that will stick around on the journey, will be the one to reap it in the future. So for me, that's my last words that I will leave with you. Okay? Thank you. God bless you. It's not easy showing up your face every day here, and even when you are not here, to sit alone and catch up is not easy. But you made it happen. And I just want to say, Allah bless you. God bless you. Whichever thing you believe in, bless you for putting yourself out there. But we are working on something amazing. This is the only words that I can leave here with. So from now on, when you are till we graduate, just sit down, reflect. Just reflect on the journey and see how you're going to make that impact in your community. How you're going to use this information. I have some incredible ideas of how people are starting to use it already. Tag us in your initiatives that you're doing. You're not alone. You're part of ADO, so tag us, share it with us, invite us, even if you have a virtual program, invite us to be part, because it is your work you're doing that is reflecting us. So we will also have a log where you can log in the initiatives that you're doing that we are able to track. So in the year, we can say that maybe Angelo did XYZ initiatives. So we will log that as well after the graduation, so you see the way forward. As I said, we don't know it all. Some of you know it better than us. Bring those ideas, don't sit on them. Bring it and let's work together. Thank you, Sandra. I am done, and you can wrap up and close the session for now. Thank you all. Sandra, you're muted.
Thank you. Yes, I'm back now. Thank you so much, Rosa. Let me just apologize again for the mess my internet and phone is creating. I didn't hear, I missed out on a lot, but just a few words. Walking to the streets of Koforidua. You know, I was going to ask you to share somewhere in between. I was going to ask you to share your first step towards advocacy for us, your personal story. So even though I couldn't do that, but I'm glad you some way, somehow brought that in and shared with us. Like Rosa already said, thank you all so much. You make this possible. We can sit in our rooms and then we plan. But if after planning, if you don't participate, if you don't offer to be part of this initiative, then we have failed. So the fact that you took time to send out application, made it through all the sessions, and even if you didn't, you still watch online. You are here today, and for that, we say thank you so much. You have made this possible, and I really wish you all the best in your endeavors. Those who want to be assessors, those who want to advocate, those who are teachers, who have changed perspective on how to deal with their students. Oh, that really got me when Josiah was sharing his story about, moving from punishing students to understanding their needs and attending to them. That felt like a big success story, because it was one of the story, and that came through Rose's personal journey in dealing with dyslexia. That motivated me to be part of this initiative. So I'm glad we have more of you. Before I went off, I saw that Asnick put in the chat that if we could have more cover for parents in the next cohorts. And I think we will do that, because they are really parts, parents, teachers, other stakeholders. They are really key to making this possible and dealing with children with dyslexia. So again, words fail me. So it's already 6. I don't like to go beyond time. So I wish you all the best and a big thank you. Let's connect on the alumni platform that Rosalind shared with us. We will see you there. If you have any questions, the platforms are still open, and then see you at graduation. All the best and have a good evening. Thank you, Rosa. Bye. Bye.
Awesome.
Okay.
It's time for Africa.
Someone asked passphrase. There is no passphrase for this session.
No passphrase for this session.
Okay.
We're all African. We're all African.